So guys, I just want to preface this demo review with kind of a small little intro that kind of accompanies everything that I think we should look into in the next scrim. There's going to be like, I'm shooting for 10 minutes, a little 10-minute section here. And then I have like a 40-minute section that I'm going to clip on at the end. And it's just the demo front to back every round. So definitely look at this, and if you can, although you don't have to, I don't care, you can look at the whole thing. I'll try to get faster at these, and I can't really promise this is going to turn out great, but I might as well just start. So, okay, on CT side, one of the first things that was happening, and happened more in the first few rounds than it did later in the half, but early on, Davis, Snooks, you were really just overcalling me a lot, especially on this pistol round. Like giving suggestions, which are fine. Suggestions are great, but not in like the freeze time. Keep it for, keep it for tactical pauses, the pre-game, because we had 30 minutes of waiting time for you to suggest pistol rounds. Really can't be doing this during the 15 minutes I have to put my impressions on the round. That's just something you gotta lay off on. I just want to make it clear, I'm going to be responsible for the in-game calling, making final decisions in-game. You have lots of opportunities to inform me of how you want to play the game before we get into a match. So, if you want to influence how the game is going to be called by me, that's when you need to get in your opinions, because I really just don't. It's going to be it's confusing for everybody, and it's frustrating for me to hear it in-game. So, to go on with our actual C2 set, I actually think we played very good, but especially so when we were playing versus more methodical takes, more passive takes. That's when we really succeeded. But I think for the most part, we fell apart quite a bit when they were quick. Just, And I think what's prominent about that is it happened a lot on just full anti-ecos, no armor or light armor. So I think to counter this, there was definitely some things wrong on pretty much every part of the map, but I think B and A especially. So on the B site, Turd Davis, there was almost no jump spotting. You're pretty much playing from like cat, or it's not like playing for information. You were either pushing for information or you were just giving them all they wanted. And so I think if you're not pushing into apps, one of you just seriously just needs to be jumping every round. I think like 80% of the time that's what you should be doing. There's often a lot of trouble with your nades, and I think had your nades been a lot better, your usage, it would have pretty much fixed every problem. So every time Turd you jump spotted and you did see them coming, your molly would come in late and it would go too far. And then in the same note, a lot of the times you just died with your nades out in the middle of the open. So I'm going to put on a little clip that I recorded. And right here. Just to clarify, you were doing this kind of thing. And it's a pretty easy shot to hit. But also on multiple rushes, you would see them and then you would like do this kind of thing and then like this kind of thing. You would see them here, rushing you, and then you would throw it where they were 2 seconds ago. So on pretty much every one of these rushes, when they fully committed once they spotted you, your Molotov did nothing. Your grenade was fine. Should be thrown like that. Really what you should be doing is instead of jumping from up here, you should be jumping down from where this ledge is lower, and you are a much smaller target. Compared to look how much higher you go here. It's such an easy shot for anybody. This is much harder when you do it right. And once you spot them, you should be falling back and throwing like this, and then like that. If you're playing cat and you have somebody jump spotting, but this is you, Davis, and we have pretty much full mid control, and we're worried about just a fast rush, you should be just sitting here with a Molotov or a smoke out. Okay. So I hope that was enough time for a split. Anyways, yeah, I think that's how you should be doing it, Turd, because I think you were misplaying that especially. Both of you though were just like totally underestimating like how quick they could be out once you originally spotted them, and a lot of the rounds you just weren't in position and you didn't have crossfires to stop that. I'm gonna put another clip in of rounds that just didn't go very well. I'm assuming that's enough time. So A was kind of a similar thing. I guess we don't have a fifth, but if the fifth is watching this, I'm like a connector player, and every time I cross from the A side, I've been smoking ramp, and I don't think that's very effective. So fifth and or Sammy, you're gonna need to be throwing that initial A ramp smoke, because when those eco rounds did come in, or even just A takes, Palace would just be pretty much uncontested, and they can just do whatever they want there. So I need to be saving mine for either going aggressive mid, or for, stopping that Hall's take. Something that was pretty much standard across the map is we just didn't have flashes. This was in mid, but especially on A, a lot of the rounds they just walked out, and then we decided to play retake, play passive, or we wanted to go for the aggressive fights onto them. And we would do it pretty much just dry or throwing our own flashes when we have a lot of players who need or are in positions to be able to throw flashes and slow down the side take, get in rotates. And it just wasn't happening. I think that's something we need to be wary of on A side, but also as well as mid. We would see the top mid smoke come in, and Turd, Snooks, and myself, we were pretty much just letting them walk up mid. And I think we were saved by the fact that they were playing it slow. I think if they had been more aggressive, we didn't use enough nades in mid to be able to stop that. It just worked out for us because they weren't playing it very quickly or aggressively. When that top mid smoke comes in, Turd or me, we need to be throwing that molly towards boxes. Just totally force them out of position. Don't get them into a spot where they can easily throw nades. And then Turd, since you're on cat, you should just be throwing flashes top mid right when that smoke comes out. And then flashes high, and I can do the same from connector. Either way, they just had no pressure towards mid outside of people peeking them. And I think that's been evident on other maps. Just haven't really talked about that. I think other than those, I think it was fine. Something that I did think was good, though, was we had our mid aggressions and our B Hall's aggressions were just perfect. Davis, you got aggressive so many times and got so much information. Something you got to work on that is communicating that to Turd, because he didn't really seem to understand what you were doing. I don't know if that was a lack of calls or just him not understanding your calls. Either way, one of you was misplaying that, either by not giving enough information or Turd by not responding to that information. So, I think that was good on our CT side. I'm going to cut and then talk about our T side. I don't know if I left myself enough time for a split because I wanted to show an A take that went really bad. Okay. So this is an example of a round that just decided to go B. And I think it was poorly misplayed from you and Davis. Davis tries to go and get intel here, but he's immediately blind. And by this point, you should already know they're out. Look where that molly is. We can go rewatch that. Your molly, as soon as that flash came in, there should be a smoke down, or at least a molly. You have so much utility to work with, and none of it was used that round. A molly came out from you two. I think you should have just been jump spotting there, Davis, and then I think Turd, besides getting that molly in, not only earlier, but farther in, like onto the balcony outside, or just below the window, you're just not in a position to hold for this take. Let me see if I can get back to you. You're just in the middle of the side here. So, Davis gets flashed, and it's not really nothing you can do. He dies. But you're just like, you kind of get 2 nice kills, I'll give you that. But you're just not in a position to be able to, get back out. There's more ways you can throw that Molotov than being in the middle of the side here. I'm also going to link another round. This is another example of a round turd where, like, the nade usage on B here was just late in the wrong spot and just not used very effectively. The A or the B take's about to come in here. So as soon as you spot them, not only are you jump spotting the wrong way, but I'll show you where your Molotov goes, and just you see them here, and you throw it deep. At that point, they're so far past that Molotov, it really doesn't do too much. You already have people fighting you, so as far as you're concerned, you really didn't do anything with that Molotov. It should be where your nade landed, or just right before that. You shouldn't be aiming it deep at that point, and you shouldn't be throwing it from ban. If your plan was to fall back there into sight, throw that Molotov while you're falling back into sight. If you had done that, you would also gotten that nade out, and you would have cover right now. So you're fortunate enough to get this kill, but you probably could have gotten at least 2 or 3 of them just by using some better nades with better timing. Or you could have just slowed down the rotate, which is already here and has been for a while. That could have been inside, and you could have been trade fragging. This was the poor A-hold that I'm talking about. And I think just like one of the biggest problems with it was just not enough flashes coming in, and I'm using the smoke, which I should be saving for Palace.
I'll peek mid for a little bit and go at it, babe.
Comes in here, I think around 110. I'll just skip up. Right around here is when it comes in. So this one flash, which doesn't really do much, I poorly use that. And from here, this really, I don't know if this is the best play or not. Definitely was a bad whiff. But I definitely should have had that smoke out. So I think I should have just been more committed to throwing flashes. And I think in the sight, Snooks, it was you on this occasion. I think that's just a bad spot to be playing from. So if you're going to be playing towards A when you're rifling, just keep that in mind. You're not really in a very good spot. Generally, I think our T side was poor because I miscommunicated what the plan was, and I think you misunderstood it. I've been focusing on calling reactionary plays, so in order to quickly exploit an advantage we receive, or just make the best out of a disadvantage we receive. So, for example, that's finding a pick or getting picked, or suddenly getting a lot of control or information on the map, such as a stack or, yeah. So a lot of my calls are tended to be fast-paced like that, but it comes after a slower paced, phase. So I think this was misinterpreted, because when I do call fast-paced, it turns out really slowly and just doesn't end up working. So I'm going to try to focus on calling, so where you understand that even if it's after a slower phase, when that fast phase is coming and we just need to be quick and decisive and confident in our takes, try to keep in mind when I'm trying to call for that, because it's important that you understand when I'm shifting out of a slow reactionary phase into an aggressive, this is what we're doing now. And we most likely won't change off course. So, on a related note, if I'm calling during a slow phase, I want to encourage you to make free plays like you have been to find a pick or to get solo map control or information. But a lot of the things that were going wrong was when I would call for a fast execute, it'd just be misinterpreted. And people typically wouldn't listen because they would not understand that, we're actually doing a site take at this point. When I get into this fast phase, you really need to follow directions. Even if you have a better idea or something you think that could help the play, just please trust the call I make. I spend a lot of the time in game just not really paying attention to what I'm doing as far as playing and trying to figure out a good time to actually revolve or switch over to a fast phase and actually make a play. And so a lot of the times, if you kind of go and do your own thing, it totally fucks us over. So I know this happened with Davis and Snooks a lot, is you wouldn't understand. I think that was, and don't take offense, but I think you're the main two offenders of this. So, yeah, you really got to trust that. So, that being said, during the slow phases, I don't want to make it out like you just don't have any freedom to make her a loose playstyle. But during those slow phases, you're totally welcome to. And I want you to. It's just during those fast phases, I really just can't have you doing your own thing. So, overall on the T side, I'm just going to try to speed up rounds and try to tell you and communicate better when I am going to speed up the round. Yeah. So, I guess that's all I have for this. This is like, I put a lot of tries into this. So, I don't think it's going to be great at all. So, I'll try to improve on just making these videos better, just more concise. Because even though I have practiced and I have a script in front of me, or kind of a script, I'll try to get it more concise. Keep in mind I'm going to attach that 40-second minute clip on the end of the whole demo, so you can go watch that if you want. It'll give every round and what went wrong on it. I think just keeping in mind what I'm trying to say here is more important, though. However, I think it'd still be beneficial to watch it. Either way, it's like 40 minutes, so it's kind of a long thing to watch. So, you know, you have a whole weekend too, I guess. Alright, I'm going to end it here. Thanks. So, recap. This was just a normal A execute they did on us. So, just for starters, something that happened on B that I think was kind of poorly misplayed was a lot of info that Davis gets here. Davis is pretty far up already, but as the round kind of continues, he already starts like peeking out and getting tons of info, and he's going to walk all the way through this, which he communicated. Let's see if he'll start walking up. All this information at this point here, Turd, you should already be rotating. And at this point, if you had just started rotating once Davis had spotted that, you'd already be so much closer to A right now. T's are coming out. Turd kind of got dinked and isolated. Wow. So here I want to pause it. If you see where bomb is, just right there to the left, I called that. One of these, I guess at this point, it's not really possible for the connector players to get back, or at least not very easily. However, that being said, I called there were a lot in front of CT, and there were a lot of opportunities for these connector players to peek out and get so many frags here, and it was just too passive for me too. I don't know why it's saying you're here. You should be connector. There's a lot of ways for y'all. Even though that smoke was down, y'all should have been out connector there. So I'm kind of looking 3v1 here, because that wasn't really properly communicated. But Davis like just saves this round. Really kind of a fluky round. It wasn't really that well played. Davis just hits some nutty shots. Keep in mind, I think we should have had a heavier CT rotate there. Turd, I think you need to just be coming through CT most of the time. Or Snooks. I think having a stronger CT presence is way better than that jungle presence. These are just ecos. I don't really have much to say about these. They went fine, I guess. Really only one thing that happened here is they try to take B, and it was pretty easily stopped.
One's under. Oh, underpass, yeah. Yeah, there was two apps.
It happens here in a second.
Yeah, they're in fucking...
And right when this happens, we get a huge rotate towards B. And it's just way too late for that rotate to be happening. It was pretty clear that this wasn't what was going to happen. Scoreboard's fucked up, I think. Anyways, that rotate should have come quicker. Although it was a nice eco. I think we ended up with 3 people alive here, so it's a good job. Just over-rotated. This was the same story. I don't have anything to say except for Davis. Let me see if I can show you what happened. I think you just got too aggravated. I can't remember exactly what it was, but on these ecos you really shouldn't be so close. Anyway, you really should. That's really the only thing that's with a problem this run. This is the first gun round we had, and it actually went very well. I need to find a good speed for this. This is my first one. I'm kind of rambling, or I feel like I'm rambling, so I really don't know. I'll have to find my pace on this. Anyways, this is just a normal time mid. We have good control here. Turd, you're playing this very well. I think you should have used your molly at this point. I think that molly needs to just come out, out a lot. But you chose to save it. I think that was poor. But a good mid hold. I kind of put us in a bad spot there by dying. And I put y'all in the 3v3 here.
I'm a light connector right now.
Could rotate into B.
Pretty certain we just shut this round down. I don't think it was anything too crazy. Turd, you got a nice shot there. That was good. I remember now. Davis just gets this kill and I'm going to play the retake. Just going to go ahead and skip up. Just something I want to point out is in mid, they played it really slowly. Now, had they gone down to connector much quicker than they had, I think that round would have gone really differently. We had a lot of nades. Turd, you had not nades, flashes. And we just didn't utilize them very much. I think once that top mid smoke comes out, we should be flashing out from cat, flashing out from window. Just in case they're just running up for cat as fast as possible. Luckily they stayed top mid and they kind of took these 3v1 fights, so that worked out in our favor, but it could in the future not work out in our favor because it'll probably turn into 3v1s the other way around if they just go fast cat, go fast connector. Just something to point out. A lot of flashes we didn't use. This was a really bad round. This was our first eco. They didn't really have armor, just a few pistols. And it comes late onto A, and it was really poor. Just a poor hold from everybody.
I'll be mid for a little bit and go A.
Davis, I agree with what you're doing here.
There's nothing top
I think that was good. Just leave me mid now. I think that's perfect. Something that's happened here is, if you notice, I already used my smoke, and 2 A players still have theirs, and they're both in sight. So I really think from now on I should be keeping my smoke if I'm going to be playing on this retake, because something that happened is they flooded out Palace with 3 people, and I just didn't have that smoke to smoke it off once that execute came in. So from now on, Snooks, if you're playing A for these kinds of rounds, use yours. Otherwise, it's going to be whoever the 5th is. In this case, it's Sammy. Something to point out. Comes in around 110. I'm just going to skip up a little bit. Oops. It was a good Molotov. I should have had that smoked off for you, though. Snooks, I think at this point you should have dropped down. Then you could have crossfired with me here. Target got right, and I whiffed. It was a really poor hold. It was bad. So, pretty sure Davis gets picked, and Turd, I think you'd bring it down to a 2v1. But whatever. Hold on, let me turn my notes over. Alright. Speak more aggro. So we bought up on this, and I'm not really sure how it worked out, but just didn't have a lot of nades to work with this round. Turds in mid or a catwalk here with only a smoke. So, pretty bad. I should have invested in Molly here, and the same thing, I shouldn't be using my smoke there. I really need to figure out how to switch.
Never mind. I see one.
One Molly here and we get so many frags, or at least just get complete mid control. Anyways, right at this point, Turd, I think you should have just disengaged.
It's out there.
I think you should have just tried to fall back cat. Anyways. Snooks, you ran out into the site there. I don't know why you did that. Kind of put us in a bad spot. Anyways, we get 2 kills here. Maybe 3. And save 1 M4, so it wasn't a bad save. This was actually a save coming out of us. It actually worked out in our favor very well. We got a lot of mid control here. A lot of mid control player with 4 players. Wait a minute, is this the round I'm thinking of? Yeah. Anyways, you flash this up. It's a good job. The guys without much to use did a good job baiting for me here. So that kind of worked out in our favor. I should have shot this guy a bit sooner. Whatever. This was a good round because early on, we get it down to a 5v3. This was just a really well played round in general. Davis and Turd get a pick towards B here. After this, I'm not going to show it. And then
I just smoked that.
Snooks, I like that you threw the smoke there. It gave me a lot to work with.
God, I just get in here, get in
So if you're going to fall off mid like that, that's a great way to use your smoke. I think here we did a good job of disengaging. Just giving the mid at this point. Uh-oh. I think my monitor just died. Okay, this is so ghetto. So, power went out. I lost. Didn't lose anything. I still have my old recording. But I need a light to read my notes. So I'm using light on a drill. It's pretty ghetto. Anyways. Sorry if you hear it. Oh my god, is my mouse not coming up? Oh my god. Here we go. This is round 9? Yeah. So what happened here was they started to kind of like work towards B, but they eventually went underpass pretty heavily with a lot of players. 3 to 4. What happened was I just got singled out connector here, and I made a really good situation out of it. I got 2, and I really didn't have help. And I think, and this was called that I needed help. I really think that Tard from Sight had flashes to help me, and I think my cat player could help me more, and I think Snooks especially should have helped me more. So, I'm going to be going between me and Snooks. Cool. Oh, it's really hard for me to switch and speed it up, so I'll try to. So, at this point, I get that first pick. And Snooks, you're just holding pals here, man. You should be like in cubby, watching that light feed. And that's just a really crucial shot you gotta hit too.
For one shot, jungle.
That was a really poor. Especially given there was so much potential in that round. So. No, yeah. There's just 3 up connector fast.
I'm gonna take the CT. Last guy.
Huh. This is so ghetto, I'm sorry. You know what? It actually went forward an extra round. Anyways, this was an anti-eco towards B. And this was just really poorly played. Nobody, come on, nobody's jump spotting. Davis, you should be jump spotting here. Absolutely. Instead, your molly just comes out late. Doesn't really do anything. Turd, I'm not gonna go back to watch it, but yours was just late too, and it was like behind them. You need to be throwing it more forward towards the like the actual balcony. Just poor nade usage there. Snooks is gonna get pushed here. That is kind of a bad situation. Anyway, this is nothing particularly bad about it. But retake. That we gotta get some better B-holds there. Should have gone past some more sight. There weren't crossfires. You were just kind of in the middle of the open, taking these weird close range fights with nades out. And you really should have been able to throw those while falling back to the back of the site. Just work on that. Jump spotting, getting in the back of sight, playing that passive. So Davis actually gets really aggressive here, and I'm sorry, I gotta talk something before this. So Davis, at this point, when you lost that round, you were just making so much chatter. You're bitching. There was so much bitching, and this whole play that I was trying to call revolved around me, Snooks, and myself. I'm sorry, me, Snooks, and Turd having rifles for you two to get guns with. And you're calling over, and not only can I not get what I wanted to do in that round, but I couldn't even get it in well enough that Snooks didn't even know we were buying. Snooks has 4,000, and he has plenty for a rifle, a scout, anything. But you really gotta stop chatting at the 15 seconds. You know, that freeze time is when I need to be calling something quickly, and you need to be listening. And if I'm getting called over, either it shouldn't be happening, or you should be calling a timeout to say it. Either would have been fine. Calling it within that 15 seconds, of which I have very few times or seconds to speak, is not what you should be doing. Going into the round, you got a nice pick here by going aggressive. It was well played. Turd is kind of what... Oh my god, mouse, please. Turd's what happened here. And it's gonna be hard. You get that first hit, really don't deserve it. But you buy so much time here. And you rotate in with your gun out. 1 second looking at the map and you would have realized what you needed to do. You have the smoke to help Davis get out. And you're just kind of sitting here, and you've done this multiple times. You were completely guilty of it. You should be throwing that smoke for Davis to get out, or just setting up a crossfire with him. Or rotating. And you kind of just hang around, kind of being useless. Oh yeah, we won this round. This was well played. We got aggressive on... Snooks kind of made a good play here, getting aggressive, and that was allowed me to get like... Yeah. It just allowed us to do really good trades. This is really smart from him. Didn't really deserve to win this. Poorly played from them. But good job. Oh my god, this fucking drill. I'm having an aneurysm. It's gonna be longer because I can't really speed up the video. Anyway, this is an eco too. This is also a B-hit if I remember right. Yeah. Same story as last time. Just... Wait, is it? Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is just a B-hit. Yeah. Sure, that was good. I gotta work with you on this, because the way you use your nades here is really poor. It's really poor. So I want to work with you on this 1v1, because you can be throwing those while you're getting back to site. Blind or not blind, that's just something you should be able to get down. Your Molotov went too far, it didn't really do too much. Your nade did a lot. Anyway, it was for the retake. We got really aggressive, and we got a lot of trades coming in. So that was well played from us. Just having that confidence to go in before they had their post plants down pretty much just saved that round. Otherwise, it was really winnable. I really can't speed the demo up too much. Davis, you push X here. You didn't really. Oh shit. You didn't really have anything to work with. And you get picked. I mean, it's not really your fault. Let me see if I can get to you. I think you should have been walking.
Nothing top mid.
Walking it. It was a good play for a lot of info, but
That's
it's just.
clear.
Yeah. Fortunately, they didn't go off that. Turd, you did a good job getting back, but you should have just had your. You should have already smoked by the time you got there. They just go for an A hit here. This is in such a good spot, Snooks. You have so much control. Turd, you should be jump spotting. I think you are. Yeah, you are. And then we have this crossfire day. Fuck. Can't remember what happens. No, can't remember now. Yeah, Snooks just saved us out. I mean, we kind of had a disadvantage there because both guns and it became a 4v5. It was a nice try though. Sorry, this is really difficult to balance.
They smoked us.
Davis, you're playing this well. You're playing it exactly how you should be. Just passive, but you know, getting intel. Snooks, once you got this pick, I think you could have just fallen. No, I'm sorry, I'm thinking of a different round. Sorry, I'm looking at the wrong notes. You had a really good hold here. And once this rotate came in, and nothing else came, it really should have been a rotate.
I'm full blind.
Right here. Right here, they just decide to run out. And there's just still like 3 people. That pick comes in and 3 people are on B. It's like right here. You should already be, somebody should be towards CT. And what's happening is 3 of you are B. And this was called. I don't know if it was ignored. I don't know if it was not heard. But by this point, we should already have somebody jungle or somebody CT with Turd. Good half though. This was a good pistol run, I have to say. Turd, I misspawned, and you totally saved me because you threw the smoke that I've been throwing. It went really well. We got fast mid control here. Davis, good job top mid. You totally took that under the underpass player's attention. We got a really easy frag on him. And once that frag came in, what was nice is we got out really quickly. We got out into A site and started trade fragging into there. It was well played. And I'll show you what happens, Davis. Maybe he's not. Me and Tard underpass, we get this frag here. Ugh. Yuck. Right here, the Davis and all of us are just like right here in connector. This is perfect. We're just already running up. Turd, the only thing that really happened wrong past this point is Turd, you're just like running around. Like look where you go from. Like front sight to ramp to sandwich to site. You just have to find the post plant. Davis, that was such an important frag. And then he scored up a 1v1. But that was a really good site take. Should have had a better post plant. Turd, I don't want to point fingers, but you were pretty much responsible for a large part of that. Who cares? Should be 12 to 6.
He died too.
I gotta just speed this up. Snooks, you have 3,300 here, and you buy a deagle when somebody needs a drop. Snooks. Snooks, you bought a deagle. Oh shit, I'm sorry. Let me go back this room. This was a really good take. They just weren't ready for this at all. And it was just so well timed. Everything came in. Oh, come on. Would you fucking restart? Okay. Forbes goes towards B. Davis just kind of does his thing. Buys a lot of time and resources towards mid here. Oh, no. I'm so mad. Wasting all your time. You're welcome. What happens is Davis goes mids alone, and he gets a, like, BX2 comes in, but by this point he had already taken a lot of pressure off from B by being mid and getting pressure using a lot of nades, making a lot of noise, and this B comes in and we just instantly get a pick. Oh shit. We go through here, and we get a frag on this guy at the end here, and I'm gonna get to Davis. Davis just came in perfectly. You're just up cat with that smoke. It was just such a good retake, or such a good side take. We found good post plants. Everybody got to a nice spot. Put a lot of pressure in market. We really just didn't make it possible for them to even try to retake it. So good job.
Still on A side, man. They're saving this shit.
Something that was... I don't think it happened this round. No, it does happen this round. I've been using my... Come on. I've been using my top mid smoke. My smoke for top mid. Pretty much every round. When I'm really, besides Turd, the only one that knows the jungle smoke that we're using frequently in underpass and mid takes, to be able to get up connector and start fighting in the site. So, kind of like how I need to save my smoke for on A site and on CT side, I need to save it for... I need to save it for that jungle smoke if we split A from mid. So just from now on, Snooks, you're pretty much just going to be throwing that fucking top mid smoke every round, unless we just don't have a lot of utility. Dave was kind of good at gate here mid. Wasn't really his fault. But once that happened though, we're just like completely split across the map and we don't have control of anything. So from now on, I'm just gonna try to tell y'all, when this happens, we get into a 4v5 like this, we could try isolating just these 1 or 2 players. So at this point, y'all shouldn't have been going underpass. I should have called for y'all to go back A ramp. And we just execute A. We have 2 smokes to work with. Would have worked fine. Fairly certain we lose this. Yeah. It's not even worth it. It was really poor. We played it really slowly. It was super readable. We just couldn't get to site. I'm just gonna skip around. 21. Yeah. I don't have notes for this round. I don't even know what this is. Is it important? I don't know. something that was suggested that we go faster on these A hits or on just regular side picks, and I totally agree with that. Especially when Snooks gets a pick like that. I remember now. We get a pick like that, we just put so much pressure everywhere on the map. Everybody starts watching more angles, and somebody's always alone. I think when stuff like this happens, we just need to everybody rotate to B, everybody rotate to A, and just get a really fast, well-executed site take. Either way, on this take, it would have worked either way, whichever site, you know. Instead, we just kind of linger around and I think we do end up winning this round, but just poorly played. This guy gets aggressive, we find the pick. It's traded, but he pretty much gets a lot of info here.
One's close, inside, center side.
Oh my gosh, hold on, sorry. And then this is when we do this well.
I'm thinking like it's A.
Is we call to, or I call to group up in maps. Snooks, when I call a default, or we're just defaulting or holding spots or just kind of working picks, it's cool for you to do your thing. But when I call something like this, let's hit B together, Davis get our cat rotate. You can't be going underpass and faking shit. When that call comes in, we need to all be on the same page, and instead, you said what you're doing, but it's something you really can't be doing in this situation. We really need to stick together, and we really just need to listen to that call. Because in this situation, nothing really happened from what you did, and our side take was just a lot weaker. Davis just gets put into, like, you and Davis gets put into, like, a 2v2 with, like, 10 seconds left. I think if you were there, we could have traded fragged that round. But we couldn't.
Then, guaranteed. He's going under or inside center.
This wasn't really too important of a round, but 6, I just don't think you're using your op very well. This was kind of a weird half buy we had that was just completely revolving around you making an aggro pick, and you didn't really go aggro with it. You almost had a pick here, I'll give you that. But then you just kind of linger around, and I'm going to show you when you do have an opportunity to go aggressive, and you just don't take it. Right here. So much opportunities for you to just go aggro. We have a guy up in Palace, if I can get to him, who can watch a lot of shit for you. But you're just kind of like playing this like weird... Oh, let me pause it so I can get back. You're just like waiting for them to like run out close to you or something. You're just... Anyways, we won this round, but it was by sheer luck. It was the round where they threw that bad smoke and we just glocked them. It was a fluke. We don't deserve to win this. Snooks, you gotta really get aggressive with that on T side. Just something to think about. Or even suggest, maybe don't even op on T side. Don't think we need it, and I don't think when you have it, you're using it better than you would be if you were rifling. But let's talk about that. This kind of sucks because we saw they have an op, and this is again one of those situations where I should have, and I messed up on this. It's just called a fast take. Again, it would have just been one of the spots where we get to smoke that op out and get free engagements. Oh, wait. Hold on. Snooks, I don't really know what you were doing this round. You make this weird play. A lot of times you just run out B almost, and it doesn't really work out for you. You lived here, but I don't think it's very smart. Anyways, group up on these kinds of rounds. We lose this round. It's not a big deal. I'm trying to go quick because I kind of lost a lot of time, and I'm losing a lot of time because it's hard for me to speed up the demo now. It's hard for me to read my notes. We actually double save. Nothing really comes out of these 2 rounds. Like I said, Davis, you missed your fucking stairs smoke twice in a row. You're aiming too high. You need to aim lower towards the middle of that box. I don't know why that's not textbook for you. Whatever, they're pretty much full saves. Now here's where a huge miscommunication came out on the buy, and it's both you, Davis, and Snooks are just like buying ops. Buying ops when I don't even know if we should be having 1. Yet now we have 2. And both of you just make the worst plays with them. You play them like they're AKs. I just don't know where the mindset's coming from. Because I call the default here. So, you know, feel free. Take your freedom. Davis, you're like all the way out mid here with your op. Cool pick. I like that. I like it. It's fine. Then you re-smoke your window and that smoke cat fades and you have really nothing to play with. So now you're just kind of out in the middle of the open with your op. Here's where Snooks makes his play. Oh my god, get to him. Oh, Snooks already died. I'm sorry. I'm gonna go back. Because this is stupid, Dave. Or Snooks. Come on. I wish I knew how to edit videos. I'm sorry. I'll get better at this. Anyway, 2 ops here. I really don't do anything useful with them. This is just such a stupid play. There's no reason for you to be out here this far. And then, it's like almost like you took over Davis's computer. Once the smoke fades, you just like run them in and you're just exposed to everything. Literally everything. There's so many ways you could die doing this. And you do. And then Turd, I don't know what's happening here. I don't know why you're doing this. 3v5, you should just instinctively be grouping up. And makes me wonder how winnable this round could have been. With 5 players, yet we win with 2. Kind of a silly round to win. Didn't deserve to win it. It just played awful. We can't really be making those puggy strats. It's really stupid. Anyways. I'm not gonna bother, like, spectating the rest of these rounds. And I'm just gonna make some general highlights over what happened. And basically what it was is I would call a default and people would make stupid puggy plays with them and die. Davis, you're guilty of this like 2 or 3 times in the next couple rounds. I think Snooks, you were once. Or I call a fast play and it turns into a slow paced, really predictable, slow push. Not what we should be doing. And I think some of you thought that's what we were doing because sometimes we were playing around super slow. But the point of playing around super slow and then just bringing out this fast-paced play is to just totally catch them off guard. And I don't think that y'all realize that. And I think that's more my fault than yours. I think I should have explained what it was in more detail. So basically what happened is, especially in the last round, we had 2 undergrounds or something, and I just kind of like, you thought it was like a slow play, and it was just like, I meant it to be fast. CT side went fine. This TF was really bad. I think it's something we need to focus on from now on. Just having that sheer switch and play style to throw them off is something we need to be focusing on. It's something I'm going to try to call better from now on. And it's something you need to be ready for. On default, when we are playing slow, I'm cool with you going aggressive, but there's a limit to it. And then when I call something aggressive as a unit, that's when you should be making those aggro plays, because you're going to have 3 other teammates to assist you. And instead, we were doing it on these default rounds where you're really not supposed to be. We threw way too many rounds from this T side, especially in these last few rounds. Overall, my battery's about to die in 2 minutes. Shit. Okay. Anyways, I'll try to speed these up from now on. I'm just doing it dry with 2 pages of notes and lit by drill light. So, I'll try to speed it up for now. Peace.